Let's talk about the man that we have all forgotten about called David Headley. Remember David
Hmm.
Headley? Now,
How can I forget
how,
David Headley?
correct. Now,
Uh,
Headley,
he was a
was
three-way
he?
agent, you know.
Yes.
Uh,
And in the end, the
I used to
question has,
say, I used to
yeah,
say that he was a three-way agent. You know? He worked for the American, drug enforcement. He worked for the
yes,
ISI, and he worked for the CIA. And therefore, the Americans locked him up at the right time. If what Hadley knew, now let me put you this thing, when you express surprise at these things, let me tell you that if what Hadley knew had been shared with us at the right time, there would have been no 2611.
exactly.
Because this guy, as you say, and this thing shows he was the mastermind of this thing. Now, and the Americans were in the know of all this. So if the Americans had shared that information in time, they did pass some information in September, but it was too early, and then people forgot about whatever had been passed. But
Yeah.
what happened in November also, the Americans would have known.
Are
At
you
least
saying,
the Hadley part, yeah,
are you saying, because
yeah.
it's a pretty big thing you're saying that had David Headley
Hmm.
shared the information he had, there would have been no 2611. That point is believable. But you're saying the Americans, I don't know at what level, knew this and didn't tell India. Americans sat back and allowed 2611 to happen in India. They could have stopped it.
Well, now this whole thing of stopped it is a difficult thing to say, but certainly now I'll tell you something, and I keep coming back to that the Americans had shared information with us, and you can ask the RNAW on that something there was going to be an attack. It's going to be at such and such place. It's going to be from the sea, and you guys need to watch out. And security had been beefed up at the Taj and the Oberoi and exactly places which were attacked later. And I happened to visit the Taj I think, about a fortnight or 10 days after the attack. And I said, what happened to all the security? They said, yes, there was security, but then nothing happened. The Bombay police withdrew the security or whatever it is. You know how it is. Security for how long? How long can you cry wolf and expect everybody to believe that something could happen? So it was on for a couple of months, and then it was withdrawn, and that's when the attack took place. Now, David Hadley, if you yourself are saying, conceding that he was the mastermind, I don't know whether he was the mastermind. The mastermind may have been in Karachi, but he was a key player in all this.
Yeah.
He was a key link to the whole thing. Uh, if he knew whatever was happening, and anybody in the Taj will tell you that that guy was in and out of the Taj all the time, then that the Americans would have known it because he was working for the Americans.
Right till the end. You don't believe he crossed over. You believe he was a mole.
Crossed to where? Where was there to cross to? He was working for the Americans, and he
Right till
worked
the
for the
end.
Pakis. He,
Right. So
look,
he was
my
both
point
working
is,
for the
he was
national.
working for
Was
the
he an event?
Americans, he was working for the Pakis, and he was working for the Americans again. So
The question then will be why? Why would America want this done to India?
I'm not saying now you're putting it in a different way that why would America want it done to India? Why does anybody want it done anywhere? Why does it happen
Correct.
anywhere? The point
Correct.
really is that if you are in the know of something, how much do you share at what time? That's the crucial thing. Not that
Yes.
you want it done or not done. The point really is if we are in the business of intelligence sharing and we have concern for each other, then how much do we share at what time? That's the key. That's the whole thing, you know. And the whole business, the whole problem with sharing is that it doesn't always take place at the right time or the time of
Right.
our choosing.
So let us apply this Headley parallel, though it's not exactly a literal parallel. If I were to apply it to
Yeah.
what we were talking about, Like you
about
believe
Pannu.
Headley worked for the, yes, you believed Headley worked for the Americans. You believe
Absolutely,
Pannu
no
is,
doubt.
you believe Pannu
I
is
have,
playing to, yeah,
see, about Headley, it was very much clearer to me as somebody who was looking at 2611, although I was out of the business. And I made it a point to visit the Taj, and I saw a lot of things there. And you see that building with the Taj right now?
yeah,
That's the heritage wing. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Now, if you see that smoke coming out,
Yeah,
it's very interesting that it only came out, you only see smoke coming out from the right wing.
mm.
Okay. You were there, Barkha, at that whole, during the whole
Mm-hmm.
2611 thing.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if you noticed this, but I went to the Taj and I spent a lot of time examining what had happened there. And when I saw that the burnt up side was the right side of the Taj, and I'm talking of the heritage wing, the left side was pretty much okay, which made me jump to the conclusion that at the time of 2611, there were possibly one or two boys within the Taj with weapons
mm.
who were waiting for this to happen and who were a part of this. And therefore, they blew up that side.
Mm.
Could that be possible?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. So that was my conclusion. That
But
not only was Hadley coming and going, and if you ask the staff at the Taj at that time, they would tell you that those boys who came in 2611, some of them were well known to the staff. Therefore, my conclusion was that possibly one of them, or maybe two of them, was actually living inside the Taj at that point of time when this attack took place. And they may have
right.
had weapons, they may have had bombs. In fact, the other interesting thing is if you visit the Taj regularly, that this whole business of X-raying suitcases and
The
all,
luggage.
the luggage,
Yeah.
only started after 2611. Do you know that? And it
Yes, I do
started
know that.
exactly, it started exactly for the reason that I believe that there were guys up there with weapons and
Yeah.
material to blow up that. Yeah.
Look, the fact that India could not get Headley extradited, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
says everything about the Americans wanting to keep him close to them. That's obvious.
That's right.
But it's also shocking, and it's galling, and it's enraging. I don't think like a spook. I think like just a regular person. So I find
But
it
I think
galling.
a lot like Barkha, so we are all right.